folks, we have a pretty interesting visit here as Georgia tight end Darnell Washington is visiting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It has been confirmed that this is a top 30 visit. And Darnell Washington is a very, very interesting player in this upcoming NFL draft. He is the top tight end prospect, at least in my opinion, in this upcoming draft, at least in terms of raw potential and overall ability. He can do it all. He can be a phenomenal pass catching tight end. He can be a great blocker. He's got great size. He's got great strength. Everything that you want to see in a potential number one tight end in the NFL, Darnell Washington is all of those things. And I know that a lot of people, I've seen some of the comments, have been clamoring for this type of video talking about Darnell Washington, but there wasn't a reason to, essentially, until now, because now a visit has been conducted or is going to happen. So now we get to talk about Darnell Washington. And look, I saw him at the NFL Combine. The dude was going crazy. He was making a lot of phenomenal catches. Again, phenomenal size as well. I believe he's like 6'6", 6'7", something along those lines, 250 pounds, something crazy along those lines. He's got the size. He's got the great athleticism. He can make the really tough catches, especially on the sideline, which was something that was really notable to me while at the NFL Combine, was his ability to make sideline catches, catch fades, just make all the tougher types of catches that you want to see. Wide receiver type catches, if I'm being completely honest. Darnell Washington was able to make those types of catches, at least from what I saw at the NFL Combine. And whenever you look at the potential fit with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is another interesting situation. You have two guys who are on the roster right now, former draft picks in last year's NFL draft, in Cade Otton and in Ko Kieft. Now, both of those guys did very good things in different ways. For Ko Kieft, first, you look at what he is able to do as a blocker, and it was very impressive. He was a really get down in the dirt and turf and grind out types of blocking type of player. I mean, that guy was really just hard-nosed, really just getting after it in terms of blocking, but his catching ability wasn't always there. Cade Otton was a little bit more of a balanced tight end. I think that he was serviceable as a blocker, but one of his main calling cards was his receiving ability, which I think he did well in spurts last year. Definitely had potential to do more, but unfortunately, just a lot of opportunities weren't thrown his way in certain situations, and he could certainly, and I do believe he will, improve as a receiving tight end here in the future. But despite those two guys having pretty solid rookie seasons in terms of Ko Kieft as a blocker and Cade Otton as a receiving tight end, Darnell Washington gives you a guy who can do both, I think. And there may be a little bit of a, I don't want to say, maybe a stigma is the right word, but there may be a little bit of hesitation regarding taking a tight end early in the draft here, especially from Bucs fans. Whenever you think about the O.J. Howard pick at pick, I believe it was pick 19 a few years ago, and that pick didn't end up working out for the Buccaneers ultimately. Not to say that O.J. Howard was a bust or anything. He just dealt with a lot of injuries and was not the best player he could have been, but he did last his entire contract, which is very notable in my opinion. But I understand that that may leave some people hesitant in terms of taking a tight end in round one, and I think that is where Darnell Washington is going to go. I do believe he will probably be a round one tight end, just due to the overall ability that he has and the potential that he has. But I do think it is a legitimate consideration there for the Buccaneers if he is available at pick 19. I think that obviously the team is interested, otherwise they wouldn't be bringing him in for a top 30 visit. I think that you could potentially argue that a need is there, given yes, Cade Otton and Ko Kieft have done some really good things, but you could always add to that tight end room. You could never have enough playmakers. We don't know how the tight end position is going to be used in Dave Canales' offense yet up to this point, because it's an offense nobody's really seen before, considering Canales does not have any prior experience as an OC. So how will he use tight ends specifically in this offense? Is it going to be similar to how a guy like George Kittle is used in the San Francisco 49ers offense? Is it going to be how the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks and some of those other West Coast teams use tight ends? There's going to be some differences there, and it is going to be worth paying attention to, and it could have a factor. Dave Canales has had some level of input in this upcoming draft in terms of maybe skill position players that he may want to see and things along those lines. So maybe it will be considered there at pick 19 for the Buccaneers, but ultimately we will have to wait and see. But definitely love Darnell Washington as a prospect. I think he will be a very good tight end in the NFL. We'll just have to wait and see if that is for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this, so I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, folks, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.